morning. I'm so excited because I've decided today is the day that I'm going to plant my grapes. Now, I got them a little bit early because I wanted to make sure that I got the variety that I wanted, and they've been looking at me with this like a mopey kind of look going on lately, and they really want to get into the ground. And I am sure they're going to be super excited once they get planted into the ground. So that's what we're going to be doing today. If for some reason we end up getting a frost or something like that, I've got a couple of burlap sacks, and I'll just stick them over top of them while they're still young and small enough to do that. And then after that, they should be established enough where I won't have to do that anymore. So today I'm going to be planting two varieties. I have a couple Niagara grapes, which is a green table grape, which means it's not really made for wine or anything like that. It's just something that you snack on. It is a seedless grape, and so I know that my kids are going to love that a lot. And then the one that I really wanted, I'm going to be planting two Reliance grapes, which is more of a purple grape and a purple red. And it is seedless as well, and it's a table grape, and I am so excited about it because I have heard so many wonderful things about how it's just absolutely delicious, how it grows really well, how it's very prolific, and how it's very disease resistant. And so I'm going to put those reviews to the test, and I'm going to plant them. And I've got this really nice arbor that I built with a cattle panel and 4 T-posts right outside my door, and I'll show you right now. Here is my cattle panel, and I attached it to the T-posts with zip ties. I did quite a few zip ties actually because my husband is a little bit nervous about the use of zip ties without redundancies, and so I used quite a lot on here. You can see that this is a repurposed cattle panel, and I still need to cut some of the old zip ties off that I had attaching to other T-posts. But this is my archway, and I have it up just a little bit because I really want to make sure that it's tall enough. I want a lot of space to walk under, even if there's foliage hanging down or grapes hanging down. And so on either side, I have my garden that still needs to be cleaned out for the spring. Next to our front door, this is my lavender bed, and then this is kind of like a butterfly herb garden, pseudo small food forest habitat area. And so right here, there will be steps eventually, and so this archway is going to look really great when there's steps there as well. So also on the side here, I have a Nanking cherry. On either side, there's a white one over here, and then this is a red one. I have several bulbs growing for crocuses in the spring, and those are already done. So this right here is a wild cherry tree, and so that will produce cherries eventually. And the Nanking bush cherry, that's a cherry as well, so we like cherries. Now these aren't necessarily like the sweet cherries that you get at the grocery store, but they are, especially the wild cherry, is a very healthy cherry. Some people even use it medicinally sometimes. And the Nanking cherries are still good to eat fresh, but they are more on the tart side. And then the rest of this stuff is really going to be herb stuff. So I have some lamb's ear, I have some salvia, I have some catmint, I have some wormwood, we have some verbena, lavender, I have some tickweed. I do grow tobacco here just for how beautiful it is and how good it smells during the year. And then over here, if you see, there's a green kind of bush right here. That is my Forsythia suspensa, and that is a medicinal type of Forsythia, and I'm going to train that up into a tree-like manner. And so I'm going to train that there's going to be a central stalk coming up, and then it's just kind of going to weep off the edges. And so it looks somewhat like a weeping Forsythia. And then I have a lot of the similar things. I tried to I tried to make it somewhat symmetrical in both of these gardens. And so just like I have a wild cherry on that side tree and the Nanking cherry, I have a Nanking cherry here, and then I have a chased tree which has not started blooming yet, but here's my chased tree, and I'm very excited about this. This is a very highly medicinal tree that is good for womanly things. So it's also very beautiful. It looks very much like a crepe myrtle. In fact, you can see chased trees, especially in North Carolina and in more southern states, used as ornamental trees in greenways between highways or really busy streets or along the sides of them, along with crepe myrtles, because they're in that same family. And so here we also have this is a crepe myrtle. This is just a regular crepe myrtle. And so these are going to look very similar. There's going to be a little bit of a repetition of pattern right there, which is going to be really nice. Symmetry is everything to me. So here we go. Let's get around to actually planting those grapes now that the sun came out. Okay, so I have these trellises, and they're right next to where my mulched in bed is, and now they're a little bit on the inside, so there's about this much space. Now grapes are a vine and they're going to grow up this, and it's going to be really great, but I don't want the grapes buried in the grass. I want them buried in the mulched area with the good soil that's going to stay moist, that's going to stay nutrient dense, because I'm going to constantly be feeding it with new mulch and new organic matter every year. And so I'm going to put the grapes a little bit on the inside of my chicken wire here, and then as they grow up, I'll train them onto the trellis. And I'm going to put my Niagara and my Reliance together, separated just a little bit, one on either side, on each side. So I won't have Reliance both growing on one side, and then both of my Niagaras on one side. I'm going to do one of each and then one of each. Okay, so the grapes are planted. I'm so excited about that because I absolutely adore grapes. Those are one of my favorite things to snack on in the summer. And I can just imagine as we're walking up the stairs that will be here eventually, just reaching up and plucking down a handful of grapes. It's going to be really great. So this is what I did. So I put a Reliance right here, and I put the Niagara right here, and then along the other side I switched it. So here's the Niagara and here's the Reliance, and that should just make a really good cover as it goes over this trellis. Since I have some time, I'm also going to plant some pansies because I got these from my lovely mother for Easter, and as you can kind of see there, they're needing to get into the ground. So I thought putting them between the grapes might be a good little pop of color between those vines. Now, I do want to point out something. So it is important that I planted these grapes when I did, because these Nanking cherries, hello chicken, these Nanking cherries right here, they're going to end up growing to be a bush that's 6 feet tall, 6 feet wide, and very dense. And so I've got those on either end. So if I want to give a chance for these grapes to get a head start, grow enough so that the sun can hit them right now when they're small, then I need to plant them now. Otherwise, these Nanking cherries will make it very difficult for them to get enough sun to start their prolific growth. Now, the Nanking cherry is not going to be huge this year. I planted it last spring, so this is only going to get maybe double in size this year. So I'm not expecting huge things from that. So this is going to give my grapes a couple of years to grow, to go high, so that by the time that those nankeens get big, they'll be established up on this trellis, and I won't have to worry about the sunlight catching them or not. As well as these trees like this chase tree and the wild cherry over there. So it's important to get things that are starting small that will grow tall in before the things that might shade them out later start getting really big. Okay, so I also realized that I was talking about those pansies. They're not actually pansies. I was calling them that. I don't know why. They kind of look like pansies, but these are violas. And so these are hopefully happy where they are, and they're going to come back every year. That would be nice. And if they start getting shaded out, then I will definitely transplant them somewhere else because they're just beautiful. But they're perfect, and I think my mother knew this when she got them for me, because this garden that I have right outside of my house here has a color theme, and this is the only garden that I have a color theme with, but the colors in this are purple and maybe like dark purplish, maybe even going into a little bit of a blue sometimes, but on that color spectrum kind of thing. Yellow, and then silver. Now, I also put some white flowers in here because I don't really consider white to be a color. I think it's just kind of an accent color when you're doing a color scheme garden. So there's a few whites, but not a whole lot. But the main thing that I've got going on is purple and yellow. And then the foliage is silver. There we go. I have a few other new acquisitions that I got from Lowe's because it was on clearance. And so I guess since I have time and it's not raining yet, it's supposed to be raining all weekend. And so I've been out here every chance that I get when it's not raining. And when I'm not feeling too bad, because I did have a tooth extracted yesterday. I've been planting as much as I possibly can. So let me show you some of the cool stuff that I got on clearance at Lowe's as my plant therapy session after the dentist visit. So we have this really ugly gas tank right outside our house, but I'm kind of excited to see what happens with it this year, because last year I planted some estible crowns around it. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Like I say, I always ever read about this stuff, but I read a lot, like a lot about it. But this is going to be like a purple spray estible that should be hopefully growing enough that it will somewhat hide the gas tank, or maybe just make it look a little bit prettier. Either way. But down here next to it, I'm going to be planting viburnum. And so viburnum I have planted from seed about 3 years ago, but I found this, I was really excited, and it's bigger. The seeds that I've planted only just sprouted last year, and so they're going to be super small for a little while longer. But these were for like $5 at Walmart, and I got this, $5. So it's really beautiful. It likes the shade, which is where we're at right now. This is a very shady area. And viburnum is, there's also medicinal qualities to viburnum as well. So one of the rules of permaculture is if you're going to plant it for multiple purposes. And so for one, this is gorgeous. For two, it grows in shade, and I don't have a whole lot of really pretty stuff growing in this shady area right here. So I needed something. And then three, it's medicinal. And so for the estible around this, it's hiding an eyesore, and it's really beautiful, and it's got those beautiful flowers which will bring in some pollinators as well. So multiple purposes, multiple reasons, and let's get planted. Okay, so I got a really great haul at Lowe's the other day. Yesterday, actually. And I guess they had like a light frost or something, kind of like a light frost, and it made some of the plants not look as happy as other ones. And so they put a bunch of things on clearance, even though they were very healthy. They just had like some tip damage and stuff like that. So I was able to get, for much cheaper, I got some of this purple columbine, and you can kind of see this is what the flowers look like. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And this is kind of a mounding upright type of perennial. This one was not on sale, but I just fell in love. And it worked really well with my scheme. And so this is my big purchase of the day. So this is let me get the name correct as I say it to you. This is a purple gem rhododendron. And this back area that I'm in, my house is right here. The sun starts over there and it comes across this way, and so the house shades this area quite a lot. We get some sun throughout the day, but in the summer there's all these trees up here, and that's one of our permaculture things. And so in the winter there's no leaves on those trees, and so we get the heat of the sun, which is really nice. And then in the summer, we get the shade of those trees, which keeps the house cooler. And so we don't even use air conditioning. And okay, well, we use a lot of heat because I like to keep things really warm. In the winter, I have the wood stove roaring. So I can't say that we don't use a whole lot of heat, but I keep that wood stove going. But this rhododendron really only likes to have morning sun, so like 3 to 6 hours of morning sun. Okay, but on this corner, this is probably the area that gets the most sun out of this whole back area, and so I need to protect this. And so I found this juniper shrub, and I'm so excited about it. So this is going to get to be, I think it's like 3 feet. Okay, so 3 to 4 feet tall, and then it's going to spread out about 3 to 4 feet. Whereas this is only going to get to be about 2 feet tall. So if I place this on the shaded side of where the juniper will be, then the purple gem will have morning sun coming from over there. But as the sun moves across, this juniper will start to shade it when the house doesn't. So I'm very excited about this. Also, this goes with my theme. We've got the purple, and we've got kind of like a silvery foliage on this juniper. So I'm very excited. Okay, so I got them in. I put the columbine right here. This only gets to be about 10 inches. So this is going to be at the forefront, kind of coming up over the rocks a little bit. The rhododendron will kind of bush out to about 2 feet, be around here. And then the juniper, I can prune that. I got it a little bit close to the rhododendron here. But junipers are really easy to prune. So I can kind of keep this away from the rhododendron if it starts to encroach it too much, and just kind of train it to come out into this area. And so the juniper is going to be about 4 feet. I can prune it down a little bit if I need to, and it's going to come out around here. So that'll be really nice. This is something. What is the name of that? This is why I keep some of these. What is this called? Okay, so this is the Arinia, and gold dust. Okay, so a basket of gold, and so this is going to be get to be bigger. How big does this get to be? Okay, so we're gonna have about 24 inches of this, so about 2 feet, and then here is the columbine, and then I got another columbine down here. And I have a catnip right here, or a catmint, and that's going to get to be very large. I have another catmint right here. You can kind of see a little bit right there, the specific variety. No, this is not catmint. This is Russian sage. Here we go. That's exciting. Okay, so you see it attracts butterflies, it attracts hummingbirds. So the height is 30 to 42 inches, which will be really good. So once again, this columbine will kind of be at the forefront. That will kind of crowd up around it, around the outside. The catmint will take over this whole area right here. And as you can see, we have very sandy soil. It's not very good, but the catmint is just going to love that. And then we'll have a pop of yellow. So we've got purple, varying shades though. And then this golden gold dust Orinia. And then another purple. We've got the columbine. And then I have a Argentea silver sage salvia right there. And so I have another one right here. This one's doing really well. This is going to get much bigger though. And so that's the same thing. So that's that silver foliage that we got going on. And from there on, we've got the lavenders. Also, I like to put things in the rock wall as kind of a draping situation. And so I have some purple. I've got the silver. This is creeping thyme coming down. I've put various hen and chicks periodically throughout the rock wall, and so that brings kind of a reddy purple to it. Last year I stuck yarrow into a bunch of little crevices, and that's doing really good. And so that's a white flower, and I think it just looks really pretty as it bushes out right there. And so all throughout the rock wall, I'm going to have things that are just kind of bursting to life. I put a Corsican mint down right here. This is Corsican mint, and it's going to be okay with heavy foot traffic, and then also with these rocks, the gravel, and that spreads. And then I got these to lend a little bit of that blue tinge to the rock wall as well. I'm going to stick those in very easily. That'll do well. See, there's another hen and chicks. Here's a yarrow with a hen and chicks in it. Well, that's exciting. So hen and chicks is a succulent, but it goes down to like zone 5, I think. Maybe even zone 4 it's hardy to. So it looks like something that you wouldn't be able to plant outside and overwinter, but you absolutely can, and it spreads, and it's just darling. I really love hen and chicks, and so I got those. I got that from one pot. I only bought one pot of them, and there was a lot of hen and chicks in that pot, and so I was able to kind of divide them and put them sporadically throughout the rock wall. So hopefully by the end of this summer, because a lot of this stuff was planted last year, we're going to be able to see some really lush growth, and it's going to fill in really well. Maybe those grapevines will start crawling up the trellis. I don't know. I hope so. I'm so excited. This is a brand new garden that I put in last year, and so before it was just a rock wall that was bare, nothing planted in the rock wall, and then just grass going up to it. And so this is a very big, different look. As you can kind of see, it's starting to look intentional, which is very nice. And I'm excited to have those chickens be penned up, because I'm thinking they only like to dig in my gardens. It's the only place they like to go. So it already looks a lot better. And the lavender that I planted here is phenomenal. I mean, the variety, the name of it is phenomenal lavender. And so this I got as a little start last year, and then over the winter, or in the fall, I trimmed it down quite a lot. And so you can see how well it grows, like really, really well. And and when we get the chickens put away, I can put this chicken wire away, and we can just have the garden. It will be so nice. So that lavender, as it grows, it's going to end up being 3 feet to 4 feet wide. So this is just going to be like it's going to be a hedge. It's going to be a hedge of lavender, and it's going to be sprays of purple and silver foliage, and it's just going to be so beautiful. And then behind it, I got this with my order from Burnt Ridge Nursery the other day. Behind it, I'm going to plant a hedge of huckleberries, an evergreen huckleberry. And so you can see that we have our 2 windows right there, and then our door, and it's also trash day, so we're taking out the trash. Excuse the mess, please. 1, I have kids. 2, it's trash day, so we're taking all that stuff out, and we have to load it up in the truck and deliver it to the trash, to the dump ourselves. Oh my goodness, I gotta get this chicken out. Shoo, chicken, shoo, 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 shoo. This is some good stuff, actually. Let's look at this. So you can see where the chicken was digging, and look at that mycorrhizal fungi growing. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. So this is from the wood chips. This is like a underneath the wood chips view, which you don't often get to see, and so that's just really healthy. That's good soil right there. Try to cover that back up. Put that right there. So that evergreen huckleberry will be a nice hedging that will just kind of be strategically placed to block the windows, and that'll grow to be about 3 to 4 feet high. And considering the fact that this is a higher level than the grass is about level with the window, and so 4-foot hedge is going to be perfect, actually, and that will stay evergreen. And so even in the winter, when the lavender is not maybe looking its best, or maybe not as full, or I trimmed it back, we'll still have that hedge to kind of give us some privacy. So I'm just gonna stick some stuff into the rock wall. Maybe I might actually do something else, but that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and if you like the video, please hit that like button, and then subscribe to the channel too if you like what you're seeing. If you do subscribe, please hit the notification bell so that you can be alerted when new videos are posted, because there's going to be a lot of videos coming out, especially as things get greened up and more activity happens in the garden. So have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video, and stay blessed.